As humans, many of us agree that we have the sensory experience of pain. When we touch a hot stove or stub a toe, we know it will cause us to feel this thing we call pain. But let's first explore the definition. Pain is an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience associated with potential or actual tissue damage. Yet other scientists mention that this definition cannot be directly applied to animals, as it relies on them to be able to communicate their subjective experience to us. Humans communicate this through verbal communication, but animals do not share our language, so measuring their pain becomes challenging. Therefore, if species of animals cannot describe their sensory experiences, how can we explore their Umwelt, defined as a perceptual world? Well, it is proposed that we can examine an animal's Umwelt of pain by observing the general appearance and pain-like behaviour they display. These pain-related behaviours, also called nociceptive reactions, can include escaping or attacking the stimulus, or done to avoid or reduce the impact of noxious stimuli. And to clear things up, noxious stimuli are physically harmful stimuli to an animal without reference to the experience of feelings, thus producing the concept of nociception as the ability to respond to these stimuli. And even though it's argued that all animals are capable of nociception, there has been controversy about whether these pain behaviours prove the fact that animals have the sensory experience of pain. To differentiate this, a researcher came forward to distinguish the act of detecting harmful stimuli from the feelings of pain. He concluded that reflexes such as taking away your hand were labelled as nociception, and the discomfort produced by the hot temperature was labelled as pain. So as we abuse animals while ignoring their pain-related behaviours, the distinction between pain and nociception is indeed a morally, legally vital matter. Therefore, considering animals are used by humans in various ways, it is important to discuss if human actions on these species inflict pain on them. Without further ado, let's dive into the realms of bees and fish while explaining why it's more plausible to assume that if an animal species experiences nociception, it's likely that they also feel pain. Bees are a prevalent species when it comes to research. Their ability to perform complex cognitive tasks especially draws the attention of many researchers. Yet despite performing these, the debate of whether bees feel pain is widespread. This is a significant topic for discussion as bees are farmed, bred, and used for research or other purposes every year. Just last year, researchers from Queen Mary University investigated whether bees feel pain using two different conditions as shown. They found that bees would endure the hot and more painful feeder to gain the sweeter sucrose solution, but if both feeders contain the same sucrose concentration, they chose the control feeder. This supports the idea that there is some processing of pain in the bee's brain, and their reaction is not simply a reflex. Through this experiment, bees have been shown to use learning and memory to avoid damaging stimuli and then use this to adapt their behaviour in the future. The findings from this experiment are similar to others done in rats and primates, who are recognised widely as sentient and able to feel pain. On the other hand, other researchers studied whether bees could feel pain when their leg was amputated or a clip was applied. The bees were given the option to self-administer pain relief, but bees had no preference for the analgesic solution in either condition. The amputated bees, however, consumed more food, which is helpful for repair and recovery. And even though this provided conflicting evidence, researchers conducted a comprehensive analysis of various research and concluded that there was substantial evidence and support for adult bees experiencing pain. Now, fish. Since many humans consume fish, discussing the pain they may feel holds significant importance for discussion. The rainbow trout are a species not only frequently hunted and consumed by humans, but also are extensively studied in terms of applied research. To test pain in the rainbow trout, a psychologist assessed what changes occurred in the physiology and behaviour after injecting a chemical onto their lips. Those affected performed abnormal behaviours such as rubbing their lips into the gravel or rocking their fins side to side. The ventilation rate was also doubled and they stopped feeding until they were normal. The effects of morphine on the affected fish were also investigated and found that giving morphine reduced their pain-related behaviours, normalising their ventilation rate. Thus, it's not silly to conclude that these pain-related behaviours are not simple reflexes and rainbow trout do in fact feel pain. However, some say that behaviour responses are too simplistic and do not actually explain why we can't see these pain behaviours simply as reflexes, and that fish can't feel pain due to a lack of a neocortex and a highly complex brain. This reason, however, is flawed, as mental skills rooted in the neocortex such as learning and attention still happen. So with evidence that the rainbow trout do feel pain, does this mean we can still brutally hunt them for food or use them in research whilst knowing that they will endure physical discomfort? As we conclude, we're reminded that our individual experiences are like threads woven into the fabric of a vast tapestry, our Umwelt, our own unique lens. But our Umwelt doesn't exist in isolation. It intertwines with the Umwelt of other creatures, creating a complex web of perspectives. The debate on pain, as articulated by researchers, forces us to acknowledge the differences between nociception and the subjective experience of pain. This pushes us to realise that our activities have consequences for the delicate balance of ecosystems and the lives of those who share it, so it's important we cherish it and recognise the pain they feel.